I didn't get the countdown, so I guess we're live. So I just wanted to finish a video I did earlier uh, about how trash Uber Eats is and how pathetic their pay is. As a rideshare driver, I just want to share a little bit of my experience. As I mentioned in the previous video, I have over 12,000 trips in multiple apps, and for the most part, um, I have driven passengers for the past 6 years. I've done delivery mainly only during the pandemic, but recently Uber activated Uber Eats in my app after they finally figured that out. And so I tested it out earlier today and I did a quick video on how pathetic their pay is. The reason why I did that video, and normally I don't really do negative videos on anything, is because Uber Eats is putting drivers in a position, if they want to deliver food, to basically donate to Uber Eats delivery recipients. They're donating their time, they're donating their energy, their efforts, their gas, money, the wear and tear on their vehicle. They're donating that because they're not really getting paid anything other than generous tips when people tip. And that's not guaranteed. So I wanted to comment on that earlier. I did briefly in the Uber Eats should be ashamed video. But I wanted to come back to you because that video was interrupted by a Uber ride request from a passenger and by a phone call. And I just wanted to say, as somebody who has been a rideshare pro, who has documented the journey, who has a course on the 15 different streams of income in the rideshare business, and has done so many different things. You know, I've referred hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of drivers to Uber and to Lyft, and experimented and played around with other apps as well. But as somebody who's been doing this for a long time, I wanted to kind of just tell you the compensation story of what I've seen over the past 6 years. So when I was a banker in 2015 and into 2016, I tested out Uber part-time, and I made significant enough money as a part-time driver with Uber in 2016 and 2017 that I decided to leave the bank, because here in South Texas, banks don't pay very well, especially retail banking. And I was number 19 in the world in our Fortune 50 bank in terms of sales for my position. So sold millions and millions of dollars in real estate, in terms of mortgages and home equities, in terms of deposit products, as well as personal loans. And I left the bank because there was no possible way for me to move up to a high level income, to be promoted to a high level income, and still live in the city and state where I live now. So I left. I would have had to move to New York or somewhere else. And I'm from New York. I don't want to go back to New York. I want to raise my son, my children, have my family here in Texas, because it's a much better quality of life. So I left the bank instead of leaving where I live. And I decided to do Uber and Lyft part-time during that time in 2016 and 2017. I started with Lyft. And thousands of trips later, what I can say is that originally with both companies, and they're very, very parallel in the way that they worked at the time. Originally, Uber would take a booking fee when a passenger requested a trip, and they would take 25% of the fare. The driver would get 75% of the remaining fare and 100% of tips. That changed where the driver is getting less and less of the fare. There's a higher booking fee. The fares have gone down. Originally, when I started driving, there was surge. Now there's like little bonuses. The compensation has decreased significantly since 2016 when I started. And that's with both Uber and Lyft. I don't drive Lyft nearly as much anymore because they just don't pay very well. And to be honest, if I needed to survive off of this, I wouldn't really mess with Uber either because they don't pay well anymore. So in my opinion, as someone who's been doing this since 2016 on the side, part-time, nights and weekends, neither Uber nor Lyft are compensating their drivers adequately or fairly. And they're not paying as much as they used to. So both companies went public as well, and now they have investor interests to appease. So one of the things that I have told drivers in the past is if you want to be compensated as an investor, then obviously you can purchase equity in the company by buying stock. Now, the sad part about that reality is, yes, you become an equity owner or a shareholder in Uber or Lyft when you purchase stock, but they're not very good stocks to own. They're not high performing stocks, and they don't pay very well. So even if you join the investor side and take an interest as a shareholder in Uber or Lyft, it's not very rewarding, and the price of those stocks is not something that you're going to see a generous return on for the most part. So then there's Uber Eats. I drove Postmates during the pandemic doing food delivery because I wasn't driving passengers. And Postmates, I made decent money. The customers for Postmates usually tipped well, and the actual fares on the delivery charges were not fantastic, but they were decent enough where you could do okay. When Uber Eats acquired Postmates, as I mentioned in the previous video, I knew it was going to be a problem because Uber Eats structure or compensation plan for delivery drivers is the weakest in the industry. It's horrible, just horrible. And me turning on the Uber Eats app earlier today and last week I tested it out, and 2 different days only solidifies that sentiment, that thought. $2 and change for delivery requests is not something that I would accept. So I did it. I think I've done altogether maybe 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 deliveries through Uber Eats, and you average around $2 and change plus a tip. Now when the fare shows up in the app on Uber Eats, this is another shameful, horrible thing that Uber Eats does, is they show you your expected earnings including a tip. They have no way of knowing what the tip is going to be or if there's going to be a tip, and they show you what you're expected to earn. That number comes out to less than the Postmates fare that you earn from the actual delivery fee. That's sad. And then the tips in Uber Eats so far, what I've experienced, have been slim to none compared to when I did Postmates. The tips were very good. They were generous. So I just want to say, if you're looking at doing delivery, DoorDash definitely is the way to go. I always hear good things from delivery drivers about DoorDash. GrubHub might be as well. I've done Uber Connect. I would say Uber Connect is better. That's packages. parcels, stuff like that. But Uber Eats is just straight trash. I think that Uber as a company is, they might feel good about the fact that they are assisting in the delivery of food for their end user, the end customer that purchased the food. But they should feel like fucking idiots, like thieves, like criminals for the way that they don't compensate drivers, in my opinion. Um, Nonetheless, you guys who have watched me on this channel know that I'm not a complainer. I'm a problem solver. So the way that I would solve the Uber Eats problem is just to not drive for them. Period. Don't drive for them. They don't pay. So that's my opinion. That's my solution, is to not drive Uber Eats because they don't pay. Their compensation is trash for drivers. The average delivery fare that they offer is less than half of 1 gallon of gas. And when you consider that the average time of the deliveries is going to be anywhere between 10 to 30 minutes, it's not worth your time. It's not worth your gas. It's not worth your energy or effort. GrubHub, DoorDash, other delivery services might be, but I can tell you for sure Uber Eats is not. So that's my perspective. That's my experience based on actual deliveries. Now, with that being said, I don't just talk shit about Uber or Lyft or the other companies that I've driven for, because there's good things too. There's multiple different ways that you can earn income with Uber and Lyft. Last month, I went out on a Saturday night and made over $1,000 between Uber and Lyft, making over $200 driving and making over $800 on a referral fee for a new driver referral. But in addition to fares, tips, and referrals, there are many other revenue streams in the rideshare business, in the rideshare game, that you should know about if you're planning to use this as a side hustle or even a temporary full-time, gig to make money to support yourself, to survive, to support your family, or to transition into whatever it is that you really want to do. You can learn more about those things, find out more about those things through my Impossible Income courses. I'll drop a link in the description below at some point, but just to give you guys kind of an update on how I make my money, I have multiple streams of income, but my primary focus, my primary time and attention is not spent as a rideshare driver driving passengers or deliveries. It's spent as an online content creator, course creator, and coach, as well as a local real estate investor. So my online courses valued over $50,000 for Impossible Income for my Transform course. I did a pre-launch starting on May 2nd of 2022. We're still in pre-launch until all of the content is fully completed, but I made it less than $1 a day. So $50,000 education you can get for $297, and a $5,000 to $10,000 coaching program I make available for only $500 right now. So all 11 courses and my coaching program right now you can get for less than $800. They will be high ticket courses, individually sold when all of the content is fully ready. But for all my alpha members that are joining now all over the world, you have access to them today, right now, through the impossibleincome.com link below. So go ahead and sign up if you have any interest in learning high value skills as an entrepreneur starting your own business, or as an entrepreneur working within somebody else's business. If you want to earn a high level income, I show you exactly how to do that by developing these skills. Now, even though you purchase the Transform course, and it includes all 11 courses, and coaching is available. It doesn't mean that you have to focus on all 11 courses. They are individual courses, and you can focus on only the ones that you want, but have access to all of them for that price. When they are completed, each of the courses will be sold at hundreds or thousands of dollars, depending on which course it is. So I have courses on all four corners of business, including leadership and management, product development and delivery, customer acquisition, and customer experience. So when it comes to customer acquisition, the most important skills in business, besides leadership and management, are advertising, marketing, copywriting, and branding. How to acquire customers, and how to close deals through sales strategies and closing techniques. So I teach all of those things, plus product creation, publishing, public speaking, networking, product development, product delivery, and leadership and management in the courses, as well as all 15 income streams in rideshare, real estate investing, trading stocks and options, and cryptocurrencies. All of that is included in my courses. You can get all of that plus the coaching for less than $800. That's my primary income stream in terms of what I focus on these days is my own business, and I write code. I'm a website developer. I do product development and web development for other businesses. So one of the high value skills that you can learn nowadays is how to code, and it's extremely valuable in the marketplace. So that's something that I do for primary income. And then of course I flip houses, wholesale houses here locally in San Antonio. And part of my real estate course, called Real Estate Explained, which is included in my Transform course package, I actually walk you through a 33-day wholesaling houses challenge where I document my steps, video, and show you exactly how I got to wholesale deals. All of that is included. Like I said, the Transform course and the coaching is worth over $50,000. Right now I sell it for less than $300, and my coaching is $5 to $10 grand. I sell it for $500. So those are my primary income streams, as well as coding for other businesses. And then rideshare is something that I continue to do on the side, mainly to advertise my business, to connect with people in my marketplace, and to constantly keep my eyes and ears open and be aware of what's going on in my local real estate market. So I go to every neighborhood and every area in my city, around my city, etc., driving for dollars, paying attention to new developments, paying attention to ugly houses, pretty houses, for sale by owner houses, and I'm constantly meeting people and making business connections. So those are other ways to make money in rideshare as well. Anyway, when I post the link in the description below, feel free to take a look and see if there's any way that I can help you win. Keep in mind, rideshare, the way that it was originally designed, you could use this as a full-time gig to earn a full-time living, and you still can use it to earn over six figures if you're taking advantage of multiple streams of income. But in terms of having a taxi cab or an employee mentality doing this, I don't recommend it. And obviously from this video and the previous one I did earlier today, I definitely don't recommend being a delivery driver for Uber Eats. I think it's trash. I think the way that they are compensating drivers is fucking stupid, and it's really disrespectful to even offer a delivery fare at $2 and change, and to even post in the app what they expect somebody to tip you as part of the compensation that you might get. That's really, really bad. Really bad. So Anyway, that's their business. They can do whatever they want with their business, and they can, you know, pay drivers whatever they feel like paying drivers. You don't have to deliver for them. I know that I won't, but I figured I might as well test it out so that I can have a little experience with them, since I did Postmates, and I'll do DoorDash and others as well, just to test it out and see how it goes. But that's my 2 cents for today on that, because I know people have wondered. I started out part-time as a driver in rideshare. I became a full-time driver at one point years ago, and I no longer do it. And I know that people were wondering, like, you know, what am I actually doing to generate multiple streams of income? What am I actually doing to build the kind of revenue that I talk about? And then also, um, how is it possible to succeed in rideshare and to make this something that isn't absolutely miserable and stressful and all that kind of stuff? So I don't recommend being a full-time rideshare driver or a full-time delivery driver, but I do recommend, if you're an entrepreneur or you're an entrepreneur in any business where networking, meeting people, making local connections in your city, making international connections online is something that would be of value to you, you always have a captive audience with this, and people are always wanting to know more about you as their driver. And so they're going to ask you questions. They're going to ask you, what else do you do? They're going to ask you, is this all you do? They're going to ask you, can you make good money doing this? They're going to ask you all kinds of questions that lead to you being able to lead them and guide them to whatever you want, whatever opportunities you offer, whatever relationships you want to build. I make real estate connections every single day as a rideshare driver. I make online connections regularly as a rideshare driver. I tell people about my courses, my products, my programs, my books. I've had people want to connect with me on a speaking level, on a coaching level, etc., in terms of their business. And then, of course, with web development, you're always making connections online with that as well, through YouTube and social media and that kind of stuff. So if you're going to be a rideshare driver, or if you're going to be a delivery driver using any of these apps, my number one recommendation is that you approach it as an entrepreneur or an intrapreneur, understanding that the value for you as a driver is not in these pennies that the companies are sharing with you. It's in the connections that you have with the people that you meet. So take it for what it's worth. Connect with people. Make those connections valuable. Make them more valuable than the app makes them. And then this becomes something that's worth doing, even when you're underpaid doing it. Talk to y'all later.